Hello and welcome in. I'm here on Sunday, early evening now, to come in for our final collective week ahead card pull for the month of February. I don't know how it happened, but we're here. It's a short month, but nonetheless, I feel like we blinked and we're in the final stretch here. And it's a big week. There's a lot going on. As we speak, happening now, coming down the pike this week and ramping up for a very powerful March as we move on into eclipse season. So lots to touch on here today. We are going to be diving into our 3 decks that we have. Of course, we are going to be finishing out our time with the beautiful Tarot of the Cosmic Seed. I'm using the 2.0 deck today for these card pulls. And we have a new moon this week, the new moon in Pisces. So we'll be consulting the Queen of the Moon Oracle for a card in reference to Thursday's new moon in Pisces. That will be the card that will begin the foundation of the new moon empowerment reading that I will be recording here shortly. It is one that all are invited to join me for if you are already with me for the empowerment pack this month, of course. That will be coming to you this week, and it is available a la carte for anyone who would like to join us. We're going to be using 2 beautiful decks. I've just set the new moon altar, so I just wanted to give a little teaser here. This gorgeous deck has been with us throughout the month. We've all previewed it here for the collective week ahead card pulls. Whispers of the Dolphin Heart. Unbelievable messages have been coming forward from this deck. For myself personally, I'm having a Pisces season over here, and some really beautiful messages have come through. So I'm very excited to bring that in for some special card pulls for everyone who receives a new moon reading. And then this fabulous deck that we featured last year for one of the months, Astral Mermaid Tarot by Danielle Norman. So I'm really excited to bring in some deep and also astral vibes for this Pisces new moon reading, along with the healing energy sprays and altar elements that I've chosen for that space. This card pull will be a preview of getting that conversation started. So if you'd like to join me for that reading, I will have details here either on the Empowerment Sharecast. The link will be provided, or if you're catching this in one of my social media spaces, check the caption or reach out. We'll get you set up. Jam-packed reading coming your way then for the new moon. It's the last new moon before the eclipse season coming in hot for March. So then we're going to also have a little punctuation mark on our week ahead and month wrap-up messages coming from the Oracle of Awakening, the beautiful deck that we've also had with us throughout this month. So lots to come. We have some astrological weather to touch on that's happening here and now. Little spoiler alert, Mars has stationed direct. Today is the day. So you may be feeling a little light under you, a little fire there under the tush, kind of getting some clarity and some movement going. We had some really fair weather here today, so that was getting everybody with a little spring fever and wanting to kind of get outside and get moving. We'll talk more about that when we break into that energetic weather. So let's get started. I'm going to bring in the higher self connection spray. I feel this energy. This is also on the new moon altar because I'm wanting to kind of, we have the depths of the Piscean waters going below the surface, but also very astral, very much coming into the soul star chakra has been getting highlighted from the Whispers of the Dolphin deck. Soul star chakra, of course, it's that energy center that is above the crown. And that connects us with the universe and all that is. So we're really kind of definitely diving deep and then reaching high in the messages that are coming through. So let's get started. We are going to start with our 5 cards for the week. So I'm going to shuffle up with the Tarot of the Cosmic Seed, setting an intention here for the collective, for everyone who is tuning in. Whenever you receive these messages, you are always invited to take what resonates and leave the rest. That's how it works with a collective reading. And anything that doesn't, feel free to leave it, and there's always someone there to pick it up. Now, I am going to be traveling next weekend and into the first week of March. So if you would like some guidance, I invite you to check out the Empowerment Pack. The March Empowerment Pack is kicking off ahead of schedule here. I'm going to get that all going this week before I go away. So anyone who wants to join us for the month of March, that's all coming up this week. So eyes peeled for that, as well as the new Empowerment Sharecast for the month of March. We'll be heading on over there, picking up where we leave off here. So all that's coming somehow, some way this week. While I also write up instructions for grandmom coming to watch the kids and coordinate all the things. So feeling very grateful and excited for those possibilities, while also simultaneously feeling the weight of what all that entails. So that is all to say that I will be in touch. But think about, if you were planning to join for the Empowerment Pack for March, just know that's all going to be kicking off here quicker than usual. But then, of course, when I return at the end of next week, we'll continue on through and we'll all touch base and all the things. So we've got our 5-card spread for the week ahead. We begin with Monday as a placeholder for just sort of setting the tone for this week. And I'm also calling this, again, this is wrapping up the month. You know, this is energy that we've been moving through now for the better part of these 23 days of February. So let's see what's coming forward to set the tone for this final week. 1 card for Monday. Yes, all the feels, the 5 of Cups. There is so much watery energy in the emotions and the depth of how we may be experiencing that emotion, energy in motion, how it's moving or not, whether there's stagnancy or stuckness or just the cups overflowing. So we'll feel into that very powerful energy of the 5 of Cups coming in there. Tuesday is going to denote a potential blocker challenge this week. Let's see what's coming in here for a potential blocker challenge. 3 of Cups. So once again, our relationships and connections and tribe and connection of kindred spirits and all those things coming up for review and looking at the ways in which our relationships are flowing. And, you know, 2 Cups cards so far. So definitely a lot of emotion, a lot of feels on deck. And that can be feels of all kinds. You know, yes, this is a blocker, a challenge, but the 3 of Cups is about celebration and, coming together and all of those things. So again, we'll feel into, you know, what kind of is coming forward here in terms of how that may show up for us collectively. And then, of course, some insight into our little microcosms as well. Tuesday was our potential blocker challenge. Wednesday is our midweek blessing. So let's see what's coming in as that silver lining. Wednesday's energy. There we go. Action of coins. Okay, so this is like our Knight of Coins, and slow and steady wins the race here. You know, because Pentacles, slowest moving suit of the tarot, Earth energy, the slowest to manifest, the slowest to materialize. So, you know, little deposits. And once again, as we come full circle, the seeds of potential, the things that we are moving to start to create in our life, which we may or may not yet see those shoots coming up, but there's a blessing in there. So we'll feel into that. Thursday is the new moon in Pisces. And this card is going to speak to how we are growing. How are we growing this week, and how have we grown this month? Summary of February, Aquarius to Pisces season. How have we been growing? What do we need to know there? And then we'll pull our Queen of the Moon card as well. Ha! Look who's back, the Hanged One. I think we started here, didn't we? We had that if it wasn't the first week, it was the second week that this card came out and I wanted to turn it over. And it brought forward that blossoming energy, the message of the rose, the message of, allowing one to bloom in their own time. And as much as we wanted to pry those petals open. So there's been a stuck or a stagnancy, but there's lessons to be learned, perspectives to be gleaned, and certainly growth to unfold. So that's powerful. This is a significant energy, major arcana card 12, the Hanged Man, and it's on the new moon in Pisces. So with that, let's tune in. Let me just grab my water over here. I would like the water element of flow to come in here with us for this Pisces new moon. Queen of the Moon Oracle. See what we need to know as we prepare for this lunation, the final one before eclipse season. And again, this is the card that will start the conversation in the new moon empowerment reading that I'll be doing this week if you wanted to come along and go deeper. I have a spread that I've chosen and those two beautiful decks that I showed you here in the beginning of the card pulls. So very much looking forward to diving into that. And we're going to see where it all begins here with the Queen of the Moon message for new moon in Pisces 2025. What's coming forward as an overarching energy? One card. Purity. Okay. We see this one from time to time. I'm done with the snow. Snow moon coming in here, card number 30. So we're talking about anytime those eyes are covered, the potential for something that we're not seeing, something that's not yet clear. And of course, that being the case in a new moon, many times in the darkness, in the absence of light, there are things that are hidden from view or obscure or not yet clear. So we'll feel into that a little bit here today. And then, of course, like I say, we'll really be getting into that with the new moon empowerment reading. So we have one more tarot card to get out here, and then we'll pull our oracle message. So let's see. Friday is wrapping up the week and the month. February 28th, literally the last day of the month. Last card, last day. What is coming forward for us to know about February and wrapping it all up? And to go with these cards that have come forward. Nurturer of Wands. Nice. I love that. That's a little Queen of Wands coming in here to bring the fire, to bring the sparks, to bring rising up through the ashes. I was just thinking about the elements here because I was thinking that, we just got water and earth. Water and earth make mud, and so that it's mucky, it's murky. We don't have a lot of clarity, but in comes the fire. Very powerful energy to nurture those wands, to nurture those sparks, to nurture even those seeds that come forward as a blessing. But what are we creating from that? To take this inspiration, to take this, the essence and the magic of it and create it into a physical form, which again, it does take time. And so, these cards are really telling us a story about being held up and hung up and slow and steady and moving through like mud to a place of really nurturing. And because on the other side of the nurturing is the mastery of it, is the embodiment of it. So first we must take care. And that's what I'm feeling, is really taking some care here in everything that's moving, whether it be the emotions, whether it be the inspirations, whether it be, just places that we find ourselves that are tender, that are asking to be nurtured so that we can really rise up to a space of feeling empowered to take action when the iron is hot, right? Because we're getting there. We've got the blood moon coming up here in March with the eclipse season coming in, and there'll be much more to talk about there. But as for now, there's a lot of nurturing and holding space that I feel here. So let's pull our final card. We are going to pull here from the Oracle of Awakening. Beautiful deck that has been delivering powerful messages all month. And this is the last card, the final buttoning up of February energies and the messages that have come forward through the potent seeds of potential, how we have moved through this month and all that we have done together. And as always, I thank you so much for being a part of it. Let's see what is coming forward here from the Oracle of Awakening. One card, please. Final message. Limitless access to infinite potential. Wow. So yeah, there's a lot of I'm feeling a lot of power, divine feminine power coming through here in these energies. And so, and also something to be said for this amazing hair, because it's like our power and it's massive, it is limitless. And even I'm just getting a lot of crown energy. Again, soul star chakra. That's amazing because, the soul star chakra is said to be, I believe it's 9 to 12 inches from your crown chakra. So there we go. Cooper concurs. But he is a very short-haired German hunting dog as a Weimaraner, so he wouldn't know about all that hair. Which is good because all the women in this house have enough hair for everybody. So we needed a short-haired dog. There we go. Okay, so lots of beautiful cards to dive into here. I'm going to get these up. We're going to come in here to tune into some energetic weather, and then we'll roll into the card messages. So once again, thank you guys for being here. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes forward. Let's check it out. All right, let's take a look at some of the energetic weather that's moving through here in real time and coming down the pike here this last week of February. So over the weekend here and into the first few days of the week, we have February 22nd through the 24th is the 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 gateway. I've been practicing. I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. This is something I talked about in the month ahead reading for the Empowerment Pack. One of the astrological aspects that we were highlighting. 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 is one of the 4 gateways of our universe. And during this time, this period of the 22nd through the 24th, it aligns with our sun. So it's really activating its energy. 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 is known as the loneliest star as it appears to stand brightly in the corner of our universe all by itself. And 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 reminds us that we each come to this earthly realm with our own unique light and our own unique offerings. We don't need to be anything other than ourselves in order to bring our unique gifts and offerings to the world. And all we need to do is stand strong in who we are. 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 holds the energy of transformation and can be a powerful reminder that all endings eventually pave the way for new beginnings. And as I'm tuning into that, so many different little spiritual breadcrumbs coming my way. I know yesterday when I had shared about the 222 portal, we talked about, the reminder that we are individuals as much as we are part of group energy and, sort of honoring both and that sense of being independent and also being authentic and shining unapologetically. And while each of us are doing so, we're all connecting into this constellation, that makes up all of humanity. And yet some of the cards that we have coming in here at the beginning of the week over this gateway period are very interesting in that when we talk about the 5 of Cups feeling like loss and maybe even feeling a little bit out or alone in a sense, that also the challenge or potential block of that 3 of Cups, which is community and togetherness and feeling like we're with tribe, all pinging for me here in the way in which those cards may speak to some of this energy. And also, I was just listening to a beautiful message that someone was sharing with me. It was so lovely. And they were sharing the phrase birds of a feather. And so this sense of that 3 of Cups and the idea of standing alone, but actually being part of a greater whole, once again, sort of being that beacon that when we are attuned to our most authentic version of who we are, that we then shine that light out to attract other like-minded, the birds of a feather, the tribe, the connections. So just little breadcrumbs I'm picking up here as I go, just noting how that all has just unfolded for me here in real time. That's all the way personally, when I use these cards and messages and bring that in with this energetic weather, using our intuition, these are the stories that are weaving for us for consideration and contemplation. So that feels rather significant. We'll see how that follows through into the cards here in a few moments. Now, quite significant happening today, February 23rd, as I'm recording this. And whenever you're hearing this, just know Mars has stationed direct in the sign of Cancer. So Mars, and we're going to add to that, finally stations direct in the sign of Cancer because it has been retrograde since October. And this is most definitely a welcomed relief because Mars retrograde can be one of the most intense retrogrades that we can experience. And Mars retrograde has been guiding us to recalibrate our energy levels and to reconsider what motivates us. And so those answers may become clearer to us now as we're able to reconfigure how we are choosing to spend our time and energy. Mars stationing direct in Cancer may also press on family issues that we've been dealing with. We may start to feel more clarity around a family matter, or perhaps we may decide that it's time to take a different approach. And in that, our hearts will be our guide. And again, like that Three of Cups winking at us with the potential block or challenge, when we say family, yes, we're talking about, blood relation and families of origin, but also our chosen family, tribe, and larger communities as well. So, again, we're kind of keeping that in mind as we move into these cards, that we know that this weather is moving through, that we always have that post shadow even after a planet stations direct. So again, rippling out. So we'll continue to lean into that when we get to the cards there. And then finally, I want to talk about this Pisces new moon coming in, the final lunation before eclipse season, February 27th. Thursday, depending on where you are in the world, times will vary. Again, we're going to be diving into that in our new moon empowerment reading. But just a little bit about this new moon in Pisces. It has kind of a floaty and gentle new moon vibe here that could have us feeling a little scattered in our physical world, but open and receptive to our spiritual world. So this is where I was really feeling called to the diving deep with the waters, but also into the astral, because it's so Piscean. Our emotions are likely to be sensitive under a Pisces new moon as we're navigating this watery energy. So we may feel like escaping from reality for a little bit, or perhaps we may find it hard to sift through the feelings of the collective. And we need to be gentle with ourselves and to make some time to go within, because we must honor any sensitivities that come up without allowing ourselves to be pulled down into too much darkness. Again, the Five of Cups is winking at me here. Creative energies are strong under this new moon, which is allowing us to plant seeds and set intentions for the month ahead. And this is also, as mentioned, our last lunar cycle before the start of Pisces season, but also eclipse season, but also the astrological new year, because Pisces being that final sign of the zodiac, when we greet Aries season next month, at the equinox, we will be also turning the wheel into a new astrological year. So like I said, there's so much ramping up for March. It's a great time to jump in for some empowerment if you'd like to come along with us, or if you're continuing over there with me. We've got so much to get into for March with equinox and the new astrological year and eclipse season and all the things. So without further ado, let's get into our cards now by taking a look at Monday's energy kicking us off. All right, we are starting off with our Monday card, setting the tone for the last week of the month of February. And I know a little bit of a tearjerker here. It's the Five of Cups. I'm not worried about it. It's Pisces season, baby. And I see here this beautiful butterfly that's rising up from this not spilled cup, right? So we see the 4 overturned cups with the crows on either side, which do symbolize change and transition and the in-between. No longer where we once were, not yet where we wish to be. We find ourselves here, but we're in a state of tremendous metamorphosis and rebirth that's happening. So in that process, we need to cleanse and clear, and water is the most beautiful element for cleansing and clarifying. And so being that it is Pisces season and the week of the new moon in Pisces, we do have some feels flowing here. So 5 of Cups comes in, and this is what I was just saying about that sense of the lone energy of Fomalhaut and everything I was speaking to about the gateway with the energetic weather and just kind of the breadcrumbs of symbolism here as we look to, this energy, which can represent some level of loss or release, providing oneself the needed time and space to grieve, to let things flow, because yes, there's 4 overturned, 1 upright, and that's where then we are invited to bring our focus into that which is available to us. I often say about this card, yes, the cups have spilled. There is no getting those contents back into the cups, or perhaps they were never in our cups. And there's a degree of feels that we're moving through about that. We have this opportunity now where transformation and rebirth often follow any big challenges, any release that then creates space for something new to come in. And so we're invited to really love ourselves deeply, to really connect into self-love. And the key, like the nurturing, I love that nurturer that we're going to be talking about at the end of the week to wrap it all up. Nurture and nourish is another word that's been coming forward for me in, this idea of, what do I need to care for myself from this place of radical compassion and love, because that is the seed, that is the foundation and the basis of that which I also wish to bring out into the world, that I want to shine out. And so in my ability to shine it out, I must first establish it within. So we're navigating the feels. We must feel it to heal it. So again, I'm not getting too upset, pun intended, about this card, but also not downplaying the reality of what it is to feel those feels, right? And in order to bring in the healing. So again, navigating gently, we just are in an awareness that this is a time where emotions of all kinds may be heightened. So Monday is sort of marking that for us, bringing that potential across our radars as we look toward the rest of this week. So we'll take a look now at Tuesday for the potential blocker challenge and see what's coming through. All right, Tuesday is our potential blocker challenge, and we teased a little bit about this card as we were moving through the astrological weather. And I think, again, this is energy that's present this week as a potential challenge because there is a lot of potential for some emotions and feels on the other side here with Mars stationing direct, Pisces new moon coming on down the pike. We have, emotion and the heart being shown a little bit of a spotlight here. Now, there's a couple different ways that the 3 of Cups, I was talking about this notion of friendship and tribe, support, happiness, togetherness, birds of a feather, all those beautiful references. But as a blocker, a challenge, it can show up as feeling very solitary, as FOMO, a fear of missing out, of not being invited to the table, growing apart. And again, and this is a sticking point for a lot of us. I've used this phrase before. When we talk about growing apart or, sort of people vibrating in and out of our frequency, especially as we're doing work and healing and, we're moving in a direction that we would like to ascend and raise our frequency, a lot of times the people, places, and things in our proximity that are no longer a match do vibrate out. And I've used that phrase, it's not personal, it's vibrational, that it's about, and again, none of this is to underscore, to downplay how it feels, for someone to vibrate out of our, out of our frequency, or for cups to spill or what have you. So, we're sort of doing this delicate dance of, peeling back layers. We know it's the year of the snake. We're shedding skins. We're continually, having opportunities to level up and level up. And in that process, a lot of the ways in which we may have been accustomed to connecting and communing and, the people, places, and things that make up that backdrop may be shifting and changing. Could be coming around again as well. We are in the pre-shadow of now Venus retrograde. So relationships of all kinds are definitely being highlighted. And giving us a sense of the ways in which that can play up. Now, another take that I'd like to kind of bring in here too is an opportunity to see the value that you bring to a relationship. So if maybe we're not giving credit where credit is due in terms of the unique spark that you are in your circle, or something that's very specific to you that no one else can ever bring it through your lens. I love the fact, I've said this before, about each of them having a different teacup on their head, because it just speaks to, the variety, the diversity, the uniqueness of everyone that we encounter. And while not everyone is our cup of tea, and certainly we will not be everyone's cup of tea, we are creatures who need relationship and connection just as much as we may be one who needs alone time, and some solitary energy is necessary as well. And just sort of, so again, it's this balance, it's this ebb and flow that we're moving through. So if it's a block or a challenge, it can be highlighting some of those things, as well as, little disputes or miscommunications, again, senses of feeling left out. An opportunity for us to make amends, or some kind of a triangulation, a love triangle, or some kind of a, 3 is an odd number situation, could be more specifically for some people how it could show up. But, we're keeping our eye on these two, all the while knowing that they're minor arcana. Minor arcana is just, energies that are present that make up the story, that fill in those details. So as we navigate here, let's take a look at some of the people energy and the significant, and it is, noteworthy that the rest of our cards this week are court cards and a major arcana. So we're just kind of, seeing that point in which we're coming from this space and moving into the next. So let's take a look now at Wednesday's energy. All right, Wednesday's bringing in that midweek blessing with the action of coins, also referred to as the Knight of Coins or Pentacles. And so this is earth energy. It is that slow, steady, diligent, hardworking, determined, steadfast energy. Like I said, slowest moving suit of the tarot. Last thing to show up is the materialization of all these wishes and seeds and things of potential that we've been working on and tending to, that there's action coming in here in growth and in, this is a blessing, so we tune into this particular take on the Knight of Coins or action of coins with, again, patience, methodical, and committed being keywords that are all coming forward here. And it speaks to intentional, detail-oriented action, slow but effective. Productivity, trustworthiness, and responsibility are needed. Can also describe someone who is loyal or in a steady relationship with someone. Because again, this is people energy. So this is where we can identify with it as an aspect of us or someone in our orbit, or it can be some energy that we're looking to bring more of into our life, something that is steady and steadfast and loyal, in the energies that are coming up here. And that is something that takes time. It takes time to grow, to cultivate. And it's interesting because this energy is like so all over the place. I mean, if you can see, the water, which is very much like fluid in the way in which it can be unclear, it can be mucky, murky, it can be very like intangible, and we feel ungrounded and all the things. And then we have this earth energy in the middle, and we have this slowness then that continues on through the hanged man, being stuck. But then we end with this fire and with these sparks and with this movement. So again, if we're feeling a little, I was using the word seasick earlier this week because so many people around me, myself included, like stomach being a little off and just equilibrium feeling a little off center, whether people were having actual, dis-ease in their stomach and gastrointestinal things, or if it's simply just kind of feeling just a little, like the feeling when your stomach's sort of doing those little tumble salts, like the sense of just being a little bit ungrounded and tossed around and, however it's showing up for you. But I'm saying, like, we see how we're just sort of, there's so much all in the sauce, so this is what's steady, is trust that those seeds that you have planted, that you are planting, and that you are very much encouraged to be planting here and now as we come into the midweek blessing of Wednesday ahead of the new moon in Pisces. A wonderful time to set some intentions, to plant some seeds, to tend to some of those wishes. So, I think this is perfect to show up just in front of this energy of Thursday coming in with that last new moon before eclipse comes on in here in the coming months. So, a mantra with this card is seed by seed, I plant my future with rock steady foundations of faith. I heard it said today, somebody said, that faith is the opposite of control. And so, we've had so much talk, right, over the last month and a half at least, of that Four of Coins that kept showing up, that Four of Pentacles, that holding on, that, really, really trying to control or to really keep very manageable and predictable and feeling like we are in some state of control over things. And then, the harder we grip, maybe the universe says, hold my teacup, and comes along with a little something that reminds you that that's actually not the case, that there's very little that we have control over. And so, this analogy was being given about the opposite of control is faith, to have faith in, the seeds I have planted, the intentions that I am sowing that are to be held loosely, that I am sending out to the universe my desire for this thing that I'm planting, this intention that I'm setting, or something even better. Something that from my vantage point, we're coming your way, hanged one over there for Thursday, I can't see. I have a limited perspective. And from this perspective, this is the biggest, grandest wish that I can come up with. So please, universe, I'm planting this. And then I want to hand it over to say, I trust, I have faith that it is already, what is mine is already making its way to me from the inception of the spark, of the planting of the seed. It's already happening, even if I can't see it. And I have faith that what will sprout up out of the ground and ultimately come to fruition will be just what is meant for me, and it will be born of this or something even better. So this is this control versus the faith, and being able to hold that. So I think that's really powerful coming in with this rock steady foundation that we want to be focusing on setting now, all while we are cleansing and clearing and creating space. So let's take a look now at Thursday for how we are growing. All right, Thursday, new moon in Pisces, one major arcana card on the altar this week, the beautiful Hanged One coming in here, card 12 of the major arcana. So significant energy that's going to connect in with this Queen of the Moon oracle that we'll speak to here for this new moon Thursday. So the Hanged One brings forward some more very powerful buzzwords: surrender, metamorphosis, pause. So this is a card we've talked about this month. We've seen this. I talked about, that blossoming rose as the crown is opening. Again, there's illumination, there's awareness, there's ahas coming in through the stuckness. It's one of the most, sometimes we may resist this, or we may, really we're always being invited to surrender to it. But oftentimes it's sought to be a unexpected or uninvited pause or hold up. But, it speaks to, is something out of your control? It may be time to pause, to suspend all action and be still for a time. The Hanged One also represents the need to surrender, either your position or maybe to a higher power. In this position, there is nothing to be done but wait in reflection until there is a shift in your current circumstances. This card can also reflect the process of transformation. Who are you becoming? And so in this position, on the new moon in Pisces, we talk about how are we growing? And it speaks to surrendering to the will of the cosmos. And so again, I love the word surrender because I choose to see it as a word of empowerment, just like allowing. I allow, I surrender. I'm choosing to, and it's like the waves, and we're folding into it. We're folding into it. Beautiful song, Florence and the Machine, Never Let Me Go, where she says, I'm not giving up, I'm just giving in, and there's this sense of just allowing oneself to just fold in to the flow. And so I'm kind of feeling like when we've tried that resistance, when we've tried to swim against the current, when we've tried to, shaking our fists with the why and why me and all the things, we've all been through this in some way or another in our lives more than once, maybe more times than we would like to recount. How about we try this notion of surrender to allow ourselves to flow and to fold, in a way, again, from an empowering, I mean this in a way that's not, again, it's difficult because especially when we've put a lot of time and energy into things that we feel, at this point, there can even be a little stubbornness or ego or a sense of, however it's showing up for us. But, and again, we'll look at the purity and see how that's folding in. But the Hanged One invites us to allow an intentional pause, to reflect, to embrace whatever is coming through in this state of being. And in so doing, we have an opportunity to realign with our heart and our purpose and to invite in new wisdom and spiritual teachings and enlightenment and acceptance, another empowering word, because I'm choosing to do all of these things, right? I choose to surrender. I choose to allow, and I choose to accept. And so it feels very empowering. And, again, so much happening here with the crown. So it's going to be interesting as I dive into that new moon reading to see where the soul star chakra is coming in and how that's all been coming up. And again, no mistake that her crown is fully covered with this white covering. So let's take a look at the purity message of the Queen of the Moon to kind of go with this Thursday, how we're growing, and then we'll finish things out with our final Friday card and our oracle message. Okay, so coming in as an overarching energy for this new moon in Pisces is Purity, card 30 from Queen of the Moon, and it speaks to the snow moon. And the message coming in here is look for the simplest and cleanest solution. Understand your motives for doing what you are doing. Be as clear as possible in your communication. And the mantra with this card, the affirmation says, I know why I do what I do. So a little more about that. The word purity, is mentioned here as kind of seeming to have kind of a loaded moral quality. Stacey DeMarco is saying here that anytime I mention the word, people mostly think about how the word purity is used in religions or in morals. And she's speaking to the purity of virgins, the purity of no sex before marriage, or the purity of celibacy, the purity of bloodline, or certain extreme groups and belief systems, she says. No wonder we use the word with some trepidation. So it's speaking to this word kind of having its own an energy attached to it that, you know, we may hear that word or see that and have certain feelings that are, and it's funny. It's so funny that I was just saying how I view these words of empowerment. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of cool, because there was a real point about that being made, that I allow, I accept, I surrender, and the word purity, whether that's triggering for some or whatever it evokes for you, little food for thought there. But what she's referring to in the purity here is the purity of the silver moon, of the she's referring to it on the unmarked snow. You know, that fresh fallen snow that hasn't been stepped on yet, right? It's not marred by anything. The simple purity of intention that nature demonstrates. The purity of clean water in a mountain stream. The purity of one single purpose. Now, she says the Cambridge Dictionary defines this kind of purity as being clean or free from harmful substances. And she's speaking to, in this world so full of pollution and damage to the environment, that may well be hard to find. And however, she's referring now to the ancients who looked at the cycles that brought ice and snow as a sort of reset button, a time when everything lay fallow for a while, and brought with it a kind of simplicity. These times were hard, but if we were prepared for them, we would survive. There are good reasons to strive for a kind of positive purity in our lives. Being precise with our language and as clear as we can be in our communications means fewer miscommunications and misunderstandings in our relationships and work life. Keeping our intentions pure and untainted with lower energies such as jealousy, revenge, or unworthiness as much as possible means that our motivations are purer and not muddy in their reasoning. Wow, there's just so much overlap. All I know is that we're really tapping into something here. You know, I talked about water and earth make mud, and we're talking about the unmarred snow, and we talked about communication and speaking our truth, of course, always. But again, there's something very significant and specific coming in here with words. It's talking about the dictionary. We're talking about we all have different interpretation of what words mean and what they evoke for us, and the words can get in the way. So I don't know. We're going to expand on this with the Pisces new moon reading, but I'm just kind of mentioning all the things that are coming forward here. But there's definitely an invitation. If you can see the woman in the center of the card, she is open with her heart pointing to the moon, to the heavens, and she's open. Surrender, right? I'm not giving up. I'm giving in. I'm folding in a way that is empowering because I choose, I allow. So that'll be interesting to see where we go from there with that message. But I think that's really beautiful. I know why I do what I do. So this is about the way in which we can really share that and communicate that, not just with our words, but through the frequency that we are emitting and holding, which again is best served when it's free as can be from those lower vibrational energies, which is why it's even more important that we take the time with the 5 of Cups to process the spilled milk, to process any sense of loss, to process anything that is draining and pulling from us our life force energy. So beautiful. And with that, let's talk about the most powerful energy of them all when it comes to life force, the Queen of Wands. So let's take a look now at Friday's card. All right, finishing up our tarot messages for the week, this beautiful nurturer of wands, the Queen of Wands energy coming in here with some fire, with some sparks, with this confidence and bold expression of creativity, passion, power, determination, which I love because it really feels like it's setting the tone for what lies ahead. You know, this is literally the final day of February. Yes, we're still in all these watery feels. So this is where we have these moments, these pockets where we may be feeling more bold and decisive, ready to take action. And this is some of the energies I was speaking to as to what we may be experiencing now with Mars stationing direct as well. You know, a time to really find some closure on things so that we can then pivot toward the action, the inspired actions that we want to take. It can be a great time for us to restart some healthy habits like workouts and projects, or, you know, any things, goals and, you know, projects that may have been stalled under a long retrograde in Mars. So I feel this card very connected to those energies that, you know, we may be moving through, where our drive, our ambition, and clarity can really start to return. Now, this nurturer of Wands is bringing in these buzzwords of confidence, independent, and charisma. A positive, focused, and uplifting person. People are naturally drawn to you, which may provide new opportunities. It's time to shine your vibrant, radiant energy. You are inspiring to others. So just opportunities to invite in more light and, again, creativity and creative sparks and a little bit of play when it comes to that too. Of not being afraid to assert ourselves in a creative way, or again, a bold way. There's a bit of, you know, determination there. And also, there's a lot of warmth and charisma in the way of, in so doing for yourself, it also helps others. It inspires them and gives them permission to shine boldly and authentically themselves. So, you know, again, this card kind of feels like one of these things is not like the others here at the end of the week. But like I said, I think as we punctuate this month and pivot toward March, opportunities for us to really step into power, to really step into inspired action. So I'm going to take a look now at the beautiful, and I feel very related, oracle card that came forward for us from the Oracle of Awakening to really close out these messages here. Let's bring that up and take a look at her as well. So here we have the beautiful Oracle of Awakening message. It has come forward to finish out the month of February, all of the messages that have come forward for us collectively week after week. We punctuated here with this beautiful energy, limitless. This is a card that says, there is no beginning to me, nor an ending. I am existence itself. And it says, you are a reservoir of pure, undiluted potential. It is your true essence. It is where you were formed, and it is what you are made from. The entire universe exists within every cell of your body. Though you may not be in constant realization of this understanding, it is an ever-present truth. 99% of our thoughts, actions, and reactions are programmed into us by our past and the expectations of society and those around you. Let this card serve as a reminder of your expanded self. Ask yourself, how can I look at things from a new angle? And I'll insert parentheses, the hanged one. Our hanged man from Thursday, new moon in Pisces energy. Exactly. How can we see things from a new angle, a completely different point of view, and see the big picture? How can I experience my ever unfolding and expansive self, like the ever unfolding rose, right? Dream bigger, love harder, have adventures, make beautiful love, create exquisite things. What inspires you? Are you embracing your joy and following your bliss, or being led by your fear, right? Control or faith? We project our present and future from our experience of the past. What if you tap into your limitless self and let that be the guide into the unknown? And the affirmation says, I am the center of all thought, power, and influence. This is a very powerful message that's been coming up. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to be on a Zoom call with a group of beautiful awakened souls around the world for a family constellation or a global constellation session where I've mentioned this before, where we've been doing all of the elements, and we finished it out yesterday with the ether or the cosmos. And this is one of the things that, we talked about and that I've been seeing mentioned in various places about this understanding that when we try, the ego only knows the past and its job is to keep us safe. So it only creates from what it already knows because we want to keep it simple and predictable and manageable. So that is a smaller reflection of the wider collective where we are being pushed and other ways of description foisted into, out of our comfort zones, out of the known and into the unknown to create in this new age that's coming in. And so there are things that aren't coming with us that we are not best served to continue to try to continue to create from that same space. And so we're being reminded that we don't want to create the new from what has already transpired. We let what has already transpired inform us. We take the blessings and the lessons and we extract from it and we let it go with love, with gratitude, and with reverence. But we're in this place, this space of limitless potential, infinite space to create from. And so again, this is a big message, but it's something that's coming up repeatedly that's bringing us into this energy of the crown chakra, the soul star, really feeling this sense of connecting in with all that is in the infinite. But we're doing so while we are deeply submerged in, the most human of all, which is the emotion, is the water, is the depths. So that's where it's coming from. And again, there's so many connections, far more than we can even, just like we see here in her, again, in her beautiful hair, the sense of all of it, all at once is all in there. Whether we can see it or not, it exists. And we are invited to consider different angles and different perspectives and ways of looking at things, which include the loss, which include the frustration of the pauses and the stuckness and the hang-ups. That when we're still there, it means we're not done. And I've seen this said too, if you are in a space where you are hurting, where you are struggling, where you're suffering, it's not done, right? Because we already know that on the other end, what's meant for me will never pass me by. I'm in the state of metamorphosis. And in the end, I'm going to unfurl these wings and I'm going to fly. So if I'm not ready to do that, it's not ready yet. So again, limitless, accessing that potential from this space of faith also is what's been coming forward here. So yeah, that's a lot. It brought forward a lot for us. So I hope that's resonating for you, or as we unfold into the week. Of course, I always love to hear from you. Busy here with rolling into all the things. So again, you're invited to connect in any way that speaks to you. If you would like to join for the new moon empowerment reading or for the March empowerment pack that's kicking off this week as well. And then of course, please join over on the March Empowerment Sharecast. We're going to do it all again over there. We'll have a new altar space, intuitively selected decks, and some inspired words for us to set the tone for another big, powerful month. So thank you all so much for being here. I'm sending you all much love, and we shall talk soon.